Everybody, welcome to this weekly webinar for Eat2earn. We've got a few people online today with us, and this is going to be a training, but we've also got some exciting updates which Aki is going to give us over the next few minutes. So obviously, if you've got any questions, please keep them till the end, but we will give you time to ask questions. Last week we did announce, well, not last week, the week before, because we didn't have one last week. We did announce the crowd sale for shares in the company. So hopefully some of you have actually managed to do that now. If not, obviously now's the time, whilst there's still 50 pence. So obviously, please, if you can participate in that, then really great. And if not, if you've got people who you know would be interested in doing something like that, then please obviously share that with them. I'm going to hand it over to Aki because we don't want to make it a long presentation if we can help it, but I'm sure Aki's got a lot to tell you. So I'll hand it over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's good. It's been a very exciting, I should say, month, especially November. We've done a lot in November. We've come to a lot of decision making over the last month in terms of where we're going as a company and where we are looking to be in the future. Now, as Sharon mentioned, the crowd sale announcement a couple of weeks ago, we've had a lot of interest. We've had quite a few participants as well. And I think over this weekend, there's a lot of big investors coming in that I'm aware of. And next week, we are doing a special event in Birmingham, an investor-only event in Birmingham to get more investors on board. Now, before I go into the announcements, all I would like to say at this present moment is that over the last 6 months, what we've learned from feedback from all the affiliates on board is that not everybody would want to go out and knock on doors, or it's not easy for some people to break that ice and actually go and do that side of the business. However, they have mentioned that, you know, as an investment perspective, a lot of people are happy to invest. So maybe that, you know, people that you have talked to over the last 6 months who didn't want to participate because they didn't want to do the work, which I understand because it's not for everyone. It's not everybody's cup of tea. You know, some people like to sit home and try and earn passive income, whereas real businesses take a lot more effort than that to work, which is what we are. By any means, we are not a complete passive company. There is passive implements in our company, but that kind of comes at a later date once you've put your effort in, once you've built your network, and then it comes. So there might have been, and I'm pretty sure there were, because a lot of people that I spoke to over the last 6 months said, right, you know, I could have brought so many people in, but they just don't want to go out and do the work. But, you know, they possibly could invest. So if you want to, you know, call them back, get in touch with them again, and show them the opportunity we now have with the crowd sale, it might be very good to reintroduce that to them now that we've got this. It will help the company massively because every pound, every penny that's coming into the company from the crowd sale is being reinvested in, again, due to feedback from affiliates on the field. All this money is being reinvested to fit out restaurants and takeaways in many places as possible. Now, you've had a breakdown on what exactly the money is going to be used for, so I don't want to dwell on that too much. You can find it on shares at shares.e2e.today. The complete breakdown is there. Sharon's done an amazing job of putting a PowerPoint together, and Scott has added his own sort of touch to it as well. Announcements. Right. We've had a lot of feedback from restaurants, takeaways, and also customers and affiliates. And over the last year, there's been a lot of other companies that have launched, let's say competition, if you wish. Some of these companies had other businesses which are national and even international. To mention one, Uber Eats is a massive, massive company in terms of what it does in the taxi industry. And it's a global name. Everybody's aware of, everybody knows it. And when it adds its name to an additional service, the uptake is huge just because of its old success, previous success. So, and then there's Deliveroo, and then there's a million other companies. You've got Food Hub. So there is a lot of big companies, and these companies have got very deep pockets. And what they're doing basically, and we did some number crunching, and I spoke about this on the last webinar that I was on, that it doesn't add up, it doesn't make sense, because most of these companies are losing money. But because they can afford to lose money in the short term, which is, let's say, a year, 2 years for them, they can afford to lose money and then up their prices and flow it back. That's what the game plan is, and that's what they're doing. Whereas we need to be able to compete with these people. And in order to compete with these people, we've considered, based on the feedback, a lot of things which I discussed with Sharon at the beginning of the week. So what we have found is that a couple of things. Number one, the customer network that we predict, we were expecting, the customer duplication in terms of customers bringing in other customers. Yes, it has happened, but majority of it has happened on level 1. Yeah, you'll find that, yes, in default, it does go into the deeper levels, but you'll find that nobody, as we do as networkers, we set up WhatsApp groups, we then help our directs duplicate and help their directs duplicate, and this is how we create the multi-level network. General public, we've realized that no, do they have time, patience, or even understand a 5-level affiliate program, which has been very frustrating, to be fair. And what we found that it's a lot slower, hence we are where we are. Now, having said that, everyone seems to recommend it to other people. Well, you know, like directly, they'll tell their friends or they'll tell their relatives, so on and so forth. When you try to explain the 5 levels and the benefits of 5 levels, it seems to be too much for an average person from a council estate who orders a lot of takeaways to understand or digest. The reason I'm discussing this is because what we are looking to do is make it more viable for the takeaways to push our service to their customers. Now, if a person understands the multi-level and they work it, then the benefits are huge, as you all know, when you work out the 5 levels in our initial webinars, when we explain the benefits, even for a single customer, the 5-level benefits are huge. But on the face value, what we've realized is, because we've looked at other companies and how quickly they've had customer uptake better than we have. And we were pondering why that is. And what we've realized is that most of these companies ask the takeaways to put some sort of a discount offer on, anything between 10 to 30%. So I was looking at this one particular takeaway the other night, and it's on our system. It's called M&J CAF. And they have a company on called Food Hub. And on Food Hub, not only does Food Hub charge the customers 40 pence per order, but it also gets the takeaway to offer a 20% discount on every order. Now, I can't understand why the takeaways would do that, because this way, Food Hub charged them something ridiculous like £120 a month. So there's £120 a month outlay. On top, you're losing 20% on every order, yeah? And then you're indirectly costing your customers 40 pence per order. So when you put all that in perspective, the takeaway is worse off, customers worse off, yeah, but yet they seem to push it. So again, this is all very frustrating. So when you look at that, they're better off with Just Eat, because Just Eat charges them 15%, 16% plus VAT, and they're not asked to give 20% discount, right? And what we've found that a lot of takeaways don't seem to understand that side, and we tried working it out. Maybe the discount part, is to do with less, because it's actual product. There's a big, huge profit percentage on the product. But even then, a discount is a discount. Either pay it as commission on every order or give it to the customer. You still lose that 20% on value. So we asked a lot of takeaways, look, what would you prefer? Because we are charging 15% plus VAT with the reward program, even just first level reward program, which is automatic, with every order, the takeaway gets a cashback. So in default, you're paying 13.5%. Would you be okay with that as it is? If yes, then we are having a little bit of a difficulty bringing customers on board, because from a customer's perspective, customers are looking at, right, okay, with Eat2earn, we're going to get 1% spendable cashback reward system, right? But with any other program, when we order from a particular takeaway, we're getting a 10% or a 20% instant discount. Which one are we better off with? So we have to consider all of these things. And, we did a survey where we asked the takeaway, look, would it be better if we charged you, say, less? Instead of 15%, we charge you 12%. Okay? So 12% commission per order. And with every order, you got the level cashback, which automatically brings your percentage down to 10.8%. So if you minus 10% of 12%, it's 10.8% that they're actually paying us. But what we'd ask you to do is give between 10 to 20% discount to the customer, at least for the first 12 months. This gives the customer more reasons to use our service. One, they are going to get an instant discount, an instant satisfaction that they're going to get 10% off, 15, 20, whatever the takeaway is offering. And on top, they're getting this cashback reward system where they've got money building up in their back office, which they can withdraw and also spend on future orders. The reason I'm mentioning this, there's a few takeaway owners here, and there's, good networkers here who have got teams. Maybe it's something that we need to discuss with the teams to ask the takeaways they've brought on board if this would be more beneficial to the takeaways, whereas they're paying a lot less than what we initially wanted them to, and they're going to get the conversion that they want from Just Eat to us. Now, there are some good takeaways out there in our system who have pushed our services to their customers, and they've had amazing conversion, which is great. But the issue you have is that not every takeaway owner does that. We've started to realize that not every takeaway owner pushes us that well to their customers. hence the conversion is a lot slower. So what we're trying to do is find ways from research, from feedback, in how we can better our service in terms of charges, in terms of customer uptake. So basically, I'm just throwing ideas at you guys, and I need you guys to give your opinions on this. At the minute, what we've found is that takeaways are willing to give 10 to 20% off if we drop our percentage down. Now, this does not affect affiliates. This does not affect the networks. It does affect the customers. Customers, what we've realized is that to balance the percentage share that we've implemented on our system in terms of the 5 level for the networkers and the affiliate program, that, and also in terms of what we've seen. I mean, we've had feedback where, and you'll laugh at this because I'm sure you'll have, being in the networking industry, you'll have seen this in the past, or people will have mentioned this in the past. When you try to explain to a group of customers, right, look, you're going to get 10% commission on the first level, 5% on the second level, 5% on the third, 3% on the fourth, 2% on the fifth. First thing that comes into their head, oh, it's an American pyramid scheme. Yeah? And that becomes like a no-no, you know, to them. Whereas we know that because it's free, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's not a, just because it looks like a pyramid doesn't mean it's the pyramid scheme that we're all aware of, the Ponzi pyramid scheme. And it's totally free. Even then, so, you know, it gets into their mind that it's an Americanized Ponzi pyramid scheme. We are trying to find ways to eliminate that thought, you know, so it doesn't. And what we've sort of asked a lot of people and said, right, look, what if what if this gave you, every time you ordered, it gave you cash back? And then if you recommended us to your friend or family, you earned a bonus cash back. And that was it. And the response was, oh, well, that's great. There was no mention of Ponzi or pyramid because it's not. You know, it's me. And this is, it's like a, you know, it's like recommending a plumber, and getting a kickback from it. So if I recommended a plumber to Steve, and plumber went and did Steve's job, and next time he came to my house to do a job, you know, he gave me £10 off the bill, so to speak. But when there's a network and there's a deeper network and a deeper level, for the general public, it gets frustrating. Now, we weren't expecting that at the beginning. We were hoping that we can educate these people, and maybe in time we can. But now that we have very active networkers who are now going out and getting a lot of takeaways on board, we want the system to work best for them. We don't want somebody going out getting 10 takeaways and they're only getting, I don't know, 5 to 10 orders a week. We want to have that conversion where customers look at it and say, right, well, it's win-win in every angle. We're getting a 10% or a 15, 20% discount, which is just as good as any other company. And on top, we're getting a cashback too, which we can then redeem or withdraw to our bank. Wow, we believe that this could have a higher uptake of customers on board. Now, I'd like to get your opinions on what I've just discussed and said, and what you think on that subject.
Who wants to go? Who wants to go first? Steve? Oh, sorry, Andy. Who wants to go first?
Well, Steve's got his hand up, so go on, Steve. I'll follow you, mate.
Yeah, no, I think that is a good idea, to be honest with you, because talking to people like customers and talking about the structure and percentages and things like that, you've lost them. But keeping it simple and just saying, you know, you get cash back, and if your friend introduces it because you introduce them, you know exactly what you said, Aki.
You'll get a bonus reward.
Bonus reward, yeah. And it's a bit like, you know, sort of most people don't need to know how a car works in order to drive it. And I don't think the structure of the benefits needs to be known necessarily to the customers unless they start digging and want to know a bit more. The fact that it just works, you know, should be hopefully enough for them to get their enthusiasm. And I think, you know, when you get something coming along that you don't expect, and then you suddenly look at, you know, their account or whatever, and they think, oh, blimey, I've got more of a bonus there, you know, than I thought. You know, that's a nice surprise for them. And that's something that, you know, comes out of the blue, and it's not expected, and therefore it's a nice surprise. So I think keeping it very, very simple and letting the results speak for themselves, I think that would work well, personally anyway.
I tend to agree with that. I guess the thing that I experienced, David Whiteman and I went out and really sort of blitzed the city of Chelmsford last night. I know we saw 20 odd takeaways ranging from Chinese to Indian to pizza, you name it, we did it. And one of the things that was coming out there was the takeaway owners that revealed themselves to us as being the proprietors of these businesses. They were kind of saying, well, those that understood what we were talking about, and there were quite a few who kind of got the idea of what we were trying to promote, were saying, well, it's very chicken and egg. You can't deliver me customers, so why should I invest in the kit and everything else to get myself started? However, if you were to give me that kit up front and then recover the cost through orders that you're not directing to me, so let's say, you know, for argument's sake, I think it's about £350 when you include VAT. In the first £350 of orders that you put in my direction, you keep all of it, so that pays the cost of it, and then we go forward as a partnership. They were quite interested in doing something like that. You know, now, obviously, we said, well, yeah, we think that's an interesting idea, but we can't commit anything because we need to go back and discuss that with our principals and see, you know, how that plays out at head office level, so to speak. But certainly it seemed to be
Andy, that's the reason why we've set the crowd sale up. Have you seen what the crowd sale is and what we're trying to do?
Yeah, I've seen that. I've got some questions around that, because I think the idea is a great idea, but in terms of if I go and pitch that to an investor, given, you know, my background, and I know David will back me on this, and another one of the associates, Neil McGugan, we've all worked in the city. We're used to seeing these kinds of opportunities to either lend or invest. But what do we actually have to give to potential investors in the way of, well, obviously we can give them an idea of what the business is, but in terms of financial information, projections, all of those kinds of things, and also what clearance do we have from a regulatory perspective? If we run this past solicitors, has anybody sort of looked at it from the perspective of what people like the Financial Conduct Authority might have to say about it if they were to look at it?
You've got answers for that, haven't you?
Right, we've run this past the lawyers and what we've come back with as shareholders. See, we haven't had a full year yet, as you can understand. We've only been alive for 6 months, and in that 6 months, we've had a lot to learn. You know, it's been a massive learning curve for us. Now, we looked at this from a network perspective. The whole idea was to create something concrete, create something that is PayPal-like, as if you wish, you know, where you are earning residual from transactions. Now, for the long term, for the longevity, because Sharon will agree, and I'm sure there's others in here where we've been part of a lot of companies that have promised the world and they've come and gone simply because there's no backbone to it, simply because there's no real product to it. Now, in the terms of given projections, we've only been here 6 months. And in that 6 months, we've had a lot of challenges. We've had a lot of things to learn, and also took a lot of feedback from affiliates, from partners, to implement and, sort of improve and change as we go along. Now we are sort of getting more and more clearer of what directions we need to take in order to become a household name and a successful company. Now, if you look at, in terms of projections, or how long it took for some of the bigger companies to become established, you'll realize it's not a short-term thing, it's a long-term thing, and unless we have a first full year and we see what the projections are, everything is just what the reality is. Everything is just what we think, based on the growth we've had, is going to be. It's all projections. Now, we've put the projections through our accountants, then we've met up with our solicitors, and we've explained the situation. And the accountants, based on the takeaways that we've got, based on the amount of customers that we've got, and with the latest marketing, the improved numbers of customers that are joining, with the amount of affiliates that we've got, has given us a bare sort of an idea of what the company's worth, and what the price of the shares should be. Now, the price of the shares should be more than £3. Yeah. Now, at this moment, we realize that if we put the shares on the market for £3 a share, being a company that hasn't proved itself yet, only been on the market 6 months, there'll be difficulties in people, putting that money forward. Hence, we went with the 4-phase plan and sort of thought, right, we'll give the affiliates who have already committed, put a lot of work and effort in, also paid for their affiliate membership, give them the chance to get it at a price that will only be beneficial to them in the future. Now, nothing's guaranteed in the world in terms of, are we going to be that big success that we believe that we should be, that we're all working towards? I'd like to think so, yes. We are working day and night. A lot of people are putting a lot of work and effort in, and their money in, to make that happen. Is there a guarantee? No, there isn't. We could be here for a year, Pride and, Just Eat or some other company could, come along, do something similar, and because they've got multi-millionaires behind them or billionaires behind them, they could put us out of business. That's the risk you take in the business.
I get all that, Aki. What I'm trying to get to, though, is there are, in terms of soliciting investments from, not necessarily from me, because I've got a good idea of what this business is, and I'm potentially quite happy to put something in to further the aims of the business. But in terms of soliciting investments from the general public, there are very, very strict rules,
guidelines. Yeah, I know that.
We're not asking for investments, though. You're buying a share. You're buying shares.
That's an investment, no matter how you look at it, Sharon.
Yeah, it is. It is, Sharon. To answer your question, Andy, what we've kind of said is that the share availability is only to affiliates, right? Is only to members, affiliates and members. And if anyone outside the affiliate side wants to invest, they've got to become a member.
Right, so they have to become an affiliate first, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So without becoming a member, they cannot invest, because then we have to go through what you said, the whole FCA route. Once you're a member of the company, yeah. Once you're a member, then there is. We've spoke with the solicitors that there is other ways of dealing with it without having to go through the FCA.
Okay, you put my mind at rest.
Now,
I'm just concerned of what I didn't want to happen.
No, 100%. Because we wouldn't do anything. We wouldn't take any step without the advice of our lawyers in any way to put the company at any risk whatsoever. Now, the other thing, having said that, if the public want to invest and we say, right, you've got to become a member, there's ways of creating that membership, you know. So there's things we can do on that side. But it is concrete that they have to be a member first.
Yeah, okay.
You know, how we then charge them the membership fee, that can be incorporated into the investment. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, in the terms of putting value, when we last did the valuation based on what we have, the company value, they believe, in end of, because it's May to May, our accounting, yeah?
Okay.
But because that's when we basically started trading in May. So from May to May, if the increase that is happening and it keeps on that level of increase, then we should be worth 2.6 million.
Right.
So if you take that into perspective, 2.6 million based on 20% what we're selling, yeah, it's worth 500,000.
Yeah.
That 20%, and we're only trying to raise just over 250,000. So we're selling it at half price, you know, and the people that are getting it now at 50 pence are getting a heck of a lot cheaper than what the company is valued at. Now, we believe that we've done number crunching. We believe that if we can have 3 cities with around 100 outlets, yeah, that are doing, and then we market those outlets,
yeah,
that in that crowd sale should fully cover that and leave us some budget for expansion,
yeah,
into smaller areas. Now, we can cover 3 major cities. Let's say we do 3 major cities with at least 100 branches that we fund. And then also I'm talking with the company that Paul Nock recommended on the previous webinar, where a company can fund the outlets. Now, what you said as well, Andy, that is also, and we haven't said to the affiliates, right, go out there and do it completely for free, right? What we're saying is, yes, try to get that sale, cash if you can, you know, instant if you can.
yeah.
If not, then we go through the route of, right, okay, we'll take it off your orders. Yeah. If not, okay, we'll then do a monthly plan for you.
Yeah.
If all else fails and they say, well, no, look, I've got Just Eat eating out of my hands, I've got Food Hub eating out of my hands, Deliveroo, Uber Eat eating out of my hands, and it looks like a worthwhile branch to bring on board, you know, a branch that's doing a lot of deliveries, and it would be worth bringing that branch on, then yes, by all means, we'll fund it. Don't get those branches. So there's a lot of choices that we have that we can discuss with our customers, our partners, in order to bring them on board. Coming back to what I was discussing earlier, now I've had feedback of Steve regarding the customer side, and he understands that. How about the takeaway side? And I think Abu Bakr's here, who's got Rivas 8 in Manchester. So he'll probably be the right person to make a comment. I hope I haven't put you on the spot there, Brother Abu Bakr. But, you know, as a takeaway, would you be happier paying 15% and getting 10% back, or paying 12% and you're actually paying 10.8, but offering your customers a 10% discount for the first 12 months to bring them over to our app help with the conversion.
Abu, are you there? Hold on. 10% discount will be best, he says. He's not speaking, he's typing.
Okay.
Abu, are you able to speak or not?
No, but his text says it all anyway. So, 10% discount would be best. And we believe from the feedback we've had, because a lot of takeaways, funnily enough, a lot of takeaways have actually said, even on the 15% that we're charging, a few of the takeaways that I've been to, they say, oh, can we put a 10% discount on so we can move the customers quicker? And I'm thinking, yeah, if you want to, I've got no issues with that. One takeaway even said, look, we give 20% discount on all the other apps that we've put on to get off Just Eat. And we put 20% on them. We'd like to put 20% on yours too. The difficulty is that we never considered this. So we never built it into the system where you can have 10% taken off or 20% taken off. And because of the feedback and what the takeaways were saying, we've now built that, and it is being finalized over the next week or two. We'll be able to implement that and use it. Now we can type in whatever the takeaway wants to offer, whatever percentage for whatever length of time. But this is what I wanted to get everybody's feedback on. Maybe you guys can comment on that.
Well, that's something I noticed on a couple of occasions yesterday evening, that takeaways I was visiting with David had, for people who wanted to go collect rather than have deliver, there was a discount involved, which kind of made an awful lot of sense in many respects. And the other thing that came out, one or two people there was this kind of resistance to, or dislike rather than resistance of Just Eat. One guy said to me, I get too many orders from those guys, I can't cope, which kind of seemed a little bit odd, but it had put him off all online applications. He just wanted to get rid of them because he did not have the physical capacity to keep up, which was a shame. I said I'll come back in a year and hopefully things will be a bit better. But,
yeah, I think there is a huge percentage of takeaways. It's multiple factors really. When you're doing a ton of orders through Just Eat, the cost is high. The cost is very high. And then obviously you can't do anything with that. You've got to disclose every single order as well, which also has its tax implications. Now, at least with us, it's cheaper, and you're also getting something back, which if you're smart enough, you could utilize that, it could be tax efficient for you. So there's a lot of benefits in sort of branches like that, moving away from Just Eat and getting us on board, even though that they're sick of too many orders coming through it, at least they'll financially be better off with us.
Yeah, I think it's a slow burn with some of these. Just go back every so often and
absolutely
just keep finding out how they're getting on, and just making sure that you're a regular face in front of them.
And we've had some great ideas from a couple of takeaways where they've created their own flyers. They've created their own Eat2earn flyers, and they're literally going out to deliver these flyers. Not only put them out from their takeaway, they've actually decided to go out and drop them off to people's houses to get the conversion in their locality. So, they're people who understand the concept. It's amazing. People love it, and they want to make it happen. They want to support it and help it grow. Now, what we have realized is that in order to do that best, we need to work in certain areas and have enough variation in each area for it to make it for it to be viable for customers to use it. So imagine if you're in a city and there's one branch of Chinese that's on the system. The 200,000 people living in that city only have one choice, you know. But then if you've got 100 branches, if you've got 20 Chinese, 20 Indian, 20 fish and chips, 20 pizza and kebab, then there's plenty of choices. Now, with the crowdfunding, with the additional facilities for the takeaways, we think that we can achieve that quite. I'm sure if you did what you did yesterday, went back to these 20 branches that you visited and said, right, this is what we'll do for you, I'm sure you'd get a decent uptake.
Yeah, we've got one or two people to go back and see over the coming days, over this round about the next couple of weeks. Added to which, I will be I'm up in my place in the northwest next week and talking to other people about coming on board actually as affiliates. And one of these guys actually runs a full-blown network marketing business, and he actually takes on business like this.
Awesome.
I'm hoping I can get that over the line. If I can, it'll be very interesting for everyone concerned.
It would be, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we've got fingers in pies now here in South Essex, which is quite nice. Just, I mean, from a general perspective, David and I found it very useful just going out as a pair and working together. Good cop, bad cop, almost. It was good for both of us. We found it much easier to talk to people that way. Just the fact that you've got your friend with you, so safety in numbers almost. So we hit Chelmsford last night. We'll do similar in Rayleigh and one or two of the other towns around here. Probably once we get the festive season out of the way, because at the moment everybody's moaning that no one's buying takeaways. They're all saving their money for Christmas parties. But
it's true. But you've got the opposite side of the spectrum as well, where you say, right, okay, you get us on board now, and you push the flyers, and through the Christmas period, the Christmas week and the New Year's week, it'll pay off for you, because that is the busiest time. You know, as a restaurant owner myself, you know, my Christmas week and New Year's week now is fully booked. You know, people are fighting to get reservations at my place. At the moment. So that is the 2 weeks where this industry makes a lot of money. You know, and it would be ideal to have as many outlets on board who have notified their customers that we're there with them. And I think it'll be very beneficial. Yeah.
No, we certainly got the follow-up scheduled, and I think it's just be a case of perseverance, which has always been my motto. So,
well, like anything, you know, once you've become a brand, once there's enough people that know you, recognize your brand, everything else just falls in place. It's that initial build of brand, it's that initial awareness that you have to do very cleverly, smartly, and market well, really.
No, I agree.
Okay, any more questions, guys? No, everybody's been quiet tonight. So
awesome.
I apologise, I've been very mouthy.
Yeah. So obviously, basically, what Aki's saying is there will be some changes. I don't know, when are we looking to implement the changes, Aki?
Well, at the minute, we're waiting for the testing of the basket of the app, where we can implement the discount systems. So we're testing this now. This should be ready in the next 2 weeks or so.
When are you seeing
hoping in the new year. Hoping first thing in the new year, in January, we can implement this. But meanwhile, the crowdfunding is generating money, and you know, try to as affiliates, you know, try to get those shares, and then try to bring on other people, investors, as members, to buy those shares, because the quicker we sell out the 20%, the quicker we've got the funds there in order for you guys to then go back to the takeaways and say, right, okay, we'll put it in for you, you know. So it gets us moving quicker, moving faster, getting that brand awareness that we need, getting into different cities, and getting as many takeaways on board as possible.
And you mentioned something about you're going to speak to some guys who Paul Knox put you in touch with. What's the agenda for that? How long will that take to speak to them about the funding?
There's multiple aspects that need to be implemented in that, because it's basically a separate legal contract between the takeaway and that company.
It's like a financial agreement, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's a financial agreement. So it's a third-party agreement. So basically what happens is that we sign up a takeaway. We then, our affiliates, have to then take a separate, log into a separate website or take some paperwork, get them filled out by the takeaway, get them to sign that particular agreement, set up a direct debit. So we are trying to see if there's a better way of doing it, if there's a more easier way, rather than having our affiliates do that side of the job. So we'll see how we can implement it, how we can get it. But basically what that means is that we get paid for the installation equipment, and they then take it from the takeaways, be it on per order, be it on I think it's most likely monthly fee that they take on a monthly installment. So yeah, we're looking into that, and if soon as we can implement that, we will.
So we'll feed that information back to everybody. So I think the main thing for now is the crowd sale, isn't it, really? Let's just try and push that so we get the funds in the new year, so we can start then obviously helping you guys to go and give these printers away. Now you did show a picture in the group about a new printer. What's the timescale for those?
Before Christmas. Okay,
and how have you found out about these then? Where have they come from?
Well, it's the same company. What they've done, they've obviously seen the market, and there was multiple options what they can do. One was just a tablet with a separate printer, which is what Food Hub do. They have a tablet and they have a separate, like a block printer, or what Just Eat have done, which is like a big chunky touchscreen block. Now what they did cleverly, they went sort of in between, in the middle. They've got the touchscreen Android, sort of a tablet with the printer attached, which is a lot smaller. It's the size of a Samsung S9 with an added bit on the front that holds the printer roll. So it has a lot more functionalities. You can have the app preloaded onto every tablet, which is what we're going to do. And then it gives the takeaways more control and instant. They can log in on the app instead of their phone or a laptop. They can log in onto the machine, to their back office, check their orders, check their menu, and if they want to, change things, print things off, they can do. So it's a whole better system, and also it's Wi-Fi. So we have had a few issues with areas, you'll have probably found this in your daily lives, where some houses you can't seem to get reception.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, be it alien,
truth is
I don't know what. Yeah. So you can't get signal. Even in some businesses, it's difficult to get signal, and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. So the way forward is internet, Wi-Fi. So the printers we have, they're run by SIM only. The ones that we're getting as an option of both. So people who don't have internet in their businesses, they can have the SIM service. The majority of people do have internet, so you can go on to their Wi-Fi, which is also cost effective for us as well. And we don't have the cost of the monthly SIM charges.
Yeah, makes sense. Oh, well, it's all moving in the right direction. That's the main thing. We obviously we know now what our competition are doing and what we need to do. So Steve, it's in the WhatsApp group, the picture of the actual Android printer in the support group. I think it was a couple of days ago, wasn't it, Aki?
I think
It was, yeah. I'll see if I can share it with you guys.
You'll have a look in the group. It's not a problem.
I was actually I showed it to a couple of people last night when they asked what the hardware looked like, and they were quite impressed with it.
Yeah, it looks like futuristic, so it's better than it has been. There you go.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
So that's it there, and it's a very comfortable size. Whereas some terminals are huge and chunky and take a lot of space. Whereas this won't take much space at all. Completely wire free. It sits on a little charger thing, and that's it. Off you go.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't realize it was so small. Like, when you look at the size of the hand, it is quite just like a big. It's just like a big phone, isn't it?
Yeah, unless it's somebody with hands like shovel.
It's quite a big selling point, actually, because those people that did look at it were quite complimentary about it, even though we weren't really able to say what the functionality was.
Yeah, it was good.
There's a lot of good functionalities with this, and even the order printing is massively improved from the previous terminal. So the order printing is a lot more clearer, a lot more sharper. Yeah, so it's all in all, it's a massive leap forward.
It looks good. I like it. Okay, are we done, guys? Are we all happy with what you've seen today? Obviously, this has been recorded, so you can obviously catch it up again if you need to. Any questions that you've not got answers today, feel free to put them in the WhatsApp group or Facebook group, whichever. And you can always pick up the phone and give us a call. But obviously, the focus should be really just let's get these shares sold. So we've got the capital to do what you want us to do with the customer, with the restaurant. So I know it's been hard the first few months trying to get out there and speak to people, but I think being able to either offer them the option to pay it back over time or give it away for free is going to make that kind of argument go away. We should get more people on board, but we do want the quality. We don't want to give away restaurants, who are not going to bring any customers on board. We want, ones that have got good volumes and are willing to do their bit as well to help us. But at the end of the day, we just need restaurants, don't we, Aki? And customers.
Absolutely. And if we have a decent balance in each area, then it's more viable for the customers as well. And what we found, one of the biggest things that work is the 10% or the whatever percentage discount additional to the benefits, and then leaflet distribution. Now, once we have a certain amount of takeaways in each area, leaflet distribution seems to be the best response that we've had. So we tried 10,000 leaflets in Sunderland in a particular area, and it just took off massively. We are now planning to do our next leaflet distribution in January, which will be 82,000 flyers, 82,000 A5 flyers with our advert on it. Now that's every house covered. And then what we'll do is every 4 months, so whichever area that we've got on, let's say we get Manchester all sealed, and we've got enough partners there, we'll do Manchester every 4 months. Every 4 months, we'll do 100,000 distribution. And that keeps the customer base growing and coming and coming. And you'll find it's only the first couple of years that you'll push it at that level. And then you'll drop your leaflet distribution down to twice, from 3 to 2, then to once a year. It's getting that initial conversion.
Yeah. Sorry, the takeaways can put it on the menus too. Yeah, they can put on which bit? Sorry, Rebecca, the 10% discounts, or what do you mean?
No, sorry, the QR code as well. My husband's just changed his menu with all Eat2earn, and then customers are just joining in then.
Ah, right, okay.
Yes, we've always said that once you get a takeaway on, recommend a few steps that they need to take in order to have best customer conversion. And one of the best ways is having your QR code on your menus. Having the QR codes on your menus, get flyers out, have the window sticker, put it on your Facebook.
Put it on your car, put it on your window screens. Sorry, not the window screens, that would be dangerous. On the rear view mirror, the rear window screen. Well, anything really, you just need to do any kind of marketing that you can possibly do. Just do that.
In terms of to what Andy brought, sort of commented on earlier on, in terms of returns, Andy. Now, at the minute, you know, if you look at any 5-6-year-old company that's sort of done the similar sort of concept of network marketing with a legitimate product, in terms of, if you look at the likes of, I don't know, Herbalife, maybe Forever Living, Juice Plus, and sort of even, let's say, not Uber, because they've got the taxi side, or even Just Eat, who have been here way too long. I mean, Just Eat have had 80 million pounds in funding in order to grow. So it's massive in terms of that side. But yeah, if you look at any company that's sort of had a similar sort of legitimate product in the networking industry, how long it took them, and what they're worth now, even at 10% of any of these companies, I think you'd be pretty happy with the shares that you purchase now and what they'd be worth in 5-6 years' time, and what sort of dividends you'd be looking at getting.
Exactly. Okay, so we're exactly at 9:30, so that's an hour. So fantastic. There's no more questions. So please, like I say, we'll be here again same time next week. But please, obviously, communicate with us in the Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups, and face to face if need be. We're here to obviously answer any questions that you've got. Other than that, I'm going to wish you a very good evening, guys.
Thank you, everyone. See you next time. Good night.
Bye. Bye-bye.